and ask a load of stupid questions to him.
That's not like us asking.
Anyway, I won't give the game away.
Me do my two-step.
Hello, Jeffrey.
Hello, Matthew. Can I call you
We're recording, by the way. We're recording.
I've never called you Matthew, I don't think.
Because you've never told me off.
Oh, that is your real name. You're not christened Matt.
I'm not christened. Heathen.
Oh, God.
But it is a Matthew. It is a Matthew. Yeah,
okay.
It is a Matthew. Let's try and do it properly, straight from the top. Hey, my name's Matt Crowhurst. This is...
Jeff Perrett.
When I point, which side are you? You're that side on the screen, but...
yeah, I'm over there.
That way. So, yeah, because it's mirrored. And this is the...
Crowfro Show.
Hey! And while we're still in our infancy, this is the fourth show. We should probably explain to those many thousands and thousands upon thousands of people who are signing up because the word has spread far and wide to watch us this for the first time. Crow, as in my surname, Matt Crowhurst, and Jeffro because he is...
Well, I get called Jeffro a lot in motocross races and events. So... yeah,
it's not because he's hiding a massive booth under that hat. It really isn't. Although, shitting, one day could you do that? Just
there's the money shot. There it is, the Holy Grail. Look at the light gleaming off that.
All right. So, if anybody has watched our first 3 episodes, starting off with Johnny Ray, followed by Dan Reardon, and then recently, just this past week, Danny Hartz, 2-time world downhill champion, they will know that it was a bit of a marathon interview, each of them.
Yeah.
Naughty huge. Matt and Jeff are talking too much. But we're making a promise. It feels unfair for our next guest that we're saying we're going to talk less. But no, we want more people to watch for longer. So we're going to try and really...
See, the trouble with this one is this is a sport that I know nothing about. So I might get all inquisitive and ask a load of stupid questions to him and probably...
That's not like us asking...
Anyway, I won't give the game away.
And this, well, it's not going to be any better, is it? Because I actually know our next guest. And I know a little bit more about this, and it's more my terrain as such. Can you use terrain for water? I don't think you can use terrain for water. Okay, it's more my kind of geography, geology, whatever you'd call it. So I'm going to ask more.
Tea. It's more your cup of tea.
Cup of tea. But what we have done, look.
Oh yeah,
there's words on that. There's words.
There's words. I won't follow the script, of course, because I never do.
Okay, I'll try and re-listen and skip. I've even started a stopwatch just down here. Okay, he's been sat in the waiting room yet again. I guess he's been waiting for an extended period of time, patiently as we waffle on. So here we go. Show number 4 of the Crowfro Show, and we are moving from dirt and land to water, and not just any kind of water, the most gnarly of waters you'll find on the planet, because this guy likes to try and tame them, or at least ride them. Welcome to the show, Andrew Cotton, and admit.
Come on, Andrew.
3, 2, 1. Cotty, where are you? Yay!
He's caught in the undertow.
Sorry, I've just come in. Sorry, what's going on?
There we go. We've got a landscape. Let's sort this vision out. The light is giving off a bit of a glare. You move along the couch a little bit. Yeah, keep going along, Andy. There you go.
I'll just hold it like that. Or
just hold it. There we go. Cotty, it's good to see you after so long. I can't remember when was the last time we caught up. Would it have been not Boardmasters?
No. No. Did we do something wakeboarding wise? Well, I can remember seeing you, and I had somewhere wakeboarding.
Somewhere. I tell you what, mate. Before we carry on, we are going to have to sort that photo out because it'll just mess with it for the entire time. Is there? There we go. Go that way. That way.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, I can go there. Is this all part of the?
Yes, brilliant.
I mean, it is.
Can we edit this out, or
we can edit it so it'll be hilarious.
It's like through the keyhole.
We've got twin bulls just staring right down at us. That's perfect. That'll keep them happy. It can't have been Boardmasters because, Jeff, just to interlude there, we won't go into too much detail about Boardmasters, which you've obviously heard of. But
I have heard. I'm not quite that old.
Yeah, okay. And I sent Cotty a photo. If there was
I can't even remember that.
Of us in an embrace at Boardmasters at the actual festival site, which is really nice. I think we did go wakeboarding somewhere. Was the last time we saw each other, which we should do again.
It's coming back to me. I think I did like a talk and something.
It was the coaching conference. It was. I got you in to do that. Yeah, up at Bedford, and then we got you out on the lake.
Yeah, I did that really funny. Well, I had a couple of slams, and it's good.
Nice.
Hey, I'm intrigued.
Should we do intros?
Photo. No, very quickly.
This is Jeff. Jeff, this is Cotty.
Andrew, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
How's it going?
Not too bad, but now I'm intrigued to see you've already hooked me in. This picture, this embrace, have you got? Have you got that picture somewhere?
It does. It is very intimate looking as well.
Oh God!
It's like what the hell's going on? But I think it was
alcohol.
It was
It was a good bit of that.
At a point in the night where everything should be closing down and going home.
Photos should not be taken. Anyway.
Yeah, and he was taking photos at that time of the night. Anyway, that's ridiculous.
That's the night you want.
Disgusting perverts. Okay, let's start at the start. Hey, look, this is how much we wanted to get this right. How excited I was about talking to you, Cotty. I don't know whether did you receive the little PowerPoint of photographs that I sent to you both?
Yeah. Check that out. Yeah.
But
I've got that. How professional it looks. Look, you guys have way outdone me on the backdrops. This is insane.
Mate, I did give you a little crib sheet on what you should do. I said, get a tripod, get it at eye level, make sure the lighting is right. Cross.
I mean, what else are you doing? You've got nothing else to do. You've had all this time.
No, well, mate, just you couple
I'm
kids.
sure singing lessons and all that.
Singing lessons.
It's true though, isn't it? We think, right, we've got all this time to do stuff. I need to catch up on all that admin, set up those new business ideas. And kids, honestly, if I could have hurt them in a way that wasn't psychologically long-lasting today, I might have done.
No, it's good. It's like I've actually the last couple of weeks have been really, they've been quite. It's been different, but it's been fun as well. Like considering. And also, this is a serious situation, but being at home, time with the kids, bit of homeschooling. Like, I don't know if I want to go back to school now. It's so much more advanced, isn't it?
Oh, big time. I was struggled at school, let alone the homework they get now.
I don't know how if the kids were near the 10, 11, certainly not in secondary school. Imagine having to deal with the home learning there. No, we just about can get by at 5 and 3 years old.
Never mind your schooling, kid. Leave all that homework behind.
Get
yourself down and mine. Get yourself down and mine, and learn the real values of life.
Yeah, exactly.
So, tell us exactly where are you, Cotty? Where in the world are you? I know you're in Devon, North Devon, Croy, Derry.
Yeah, I'm at home in North Devon. So it's actually the first time I've been home for this amount of time for some time, to be honest. I've been like the winter was really busy. This like loads of back-to-back swells and projects on, and so I hadn't really been home for like 6 months.
So this probably the same for the three of us. This is the longest I have personally been in one spot in the same bed consecutively. I'm saying since I worked on Christian Stevenson's TV show Rad in London.
Wow. You're going back
in 2000. Yeah, is that the same for you guys? Since you had a full-time job somewhere, this is the longest you've been in the same bed consecutively.
Yeah, I think so. Which is good. I kind of like it. Like it's kind of making me reevaluate a few things, and being on the move maybe isn't, and constantly busy isn't always,
I think that's going to happen for a lot of people, isn't it? I think a lot of people are starting to realise actually. I think there's some
these kids are all right. Actually, I could hang out with them more.
Yeah.
The wife, she goes all right. I might stick around. Hey, but you're in North Devon now, but you were born on the south side, so to speak.
Kind of, yeah. Well, I was born in Plymouth, but I kind of my parents we moved to North Devon when I was about 7. 7 or 8. So like all my like surfing time has been in North Devon.
And that's when you started?
8
years old?
That's when I started, yeah. I think so. My dad was originally from North Devon, and when I can remember like leaving, we were on the south coast, and that was one of his things. Was like, okay, if we moved to North Devon, because I don't obviously a kid at that age, you know, you never want to leave where you're from or where you grew up. And he was like, oh, if we go to North Devon, I'll take you surfing, and that was it. Yeah. And
can you describe first time in the water? Can you remember it?
I can, yeah, quite vividly. It was Saunton car park. It was Easter holidays. My parents took me down. They rented a board and a wetsuit. From that point, there was like a shack there, like a shed which rented out stuff. And he rented me a board and a suit, and just said, "There you go. See you later."
Were you
they sat in the car. They sat in the car with a coffee, paper.
They'd be like this, like, just don't go too far, son. Like, you know,
mind the rip.
Just shout, Just shout if you get in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this, dear. Look.
Were you a good swimmer?
Yeah, I was always been like that was my thing. I love swimming. I had quite really bad asthma when I was young. And the doctors told my parents that, you know, swimming was really good for getting rhythm into the breathing. So they encouraged me to swim a lot when I was a kid.
In you go.
Well, no, I did a lot of pool swimming, and so yeah, I was super confident in the pool, and then I think that just transferred into the sea really, and then I was just quite happy and confident in the sea, and I think that was kind of like the old school mentality.
Oh yeah,
where you just like, especially with the action sports, is there wasn't really how do you get someone into that? Like now, there's all these coaching, and like I go surfing with my son and my daughter, and I'm very hands on. But sometimes maybe that isn't the best way to do it. You know,
I'm that guy as well.
That thrown in, this is, well, you don't have deep ends in outdoor in the sea, but thrown in the deep end, actually the way to do it, right?
Yeah, you know, learning from your mistakes, and it does, you know, like looking back, it's a long way around to do it. You know, like you know, I wasted probably, you know, years making mistakes, but then I suppose you learn from the mistakes, I suppose.
Yeah, it's easy with hindsight. You don't know how we'd have turned out the other way around.
Yeah.
At what point, listening to your TED talk, which I urge people to go, we'll stick a link in the description at the moment. You say you were hooked from the get-go. Was it actually that first surf session that you were good, or was there a point at which you stood up, you caught a wave, and?
Well, I can remember standing up straight away. You know, very like that first session, I stood up, and even though, like, you know, it's Easter in the UK, it's freezing cold. I think it was like drizzling. Like, you know, you're getting changed in the car park. It's freezing, but I can remember like my mum and dad going, you know, was that fun? Like looking at me like really, was that? You know, and I'm like, yeah, that's great. You know, like, and it wasn't. It was quite short after, like shortly after that. I think my dad bought me a board from Chapter Surf Shop in Broughton.
Okay,
which isn't there anymore.
Is it this thing? Is it this awesome yellow and pink
I think
thing?
it is. Yeah, I think you had the photo. Yeah,
I'll get it. That's going to go straight up. This is how professional we are. That's going to cut straight in seamlessly.
Oh, that's brilliant.
This board is amazing. Why don't you get that graphic again on something? It can't. Hey, your towing board is a little bit retro 80s, isn't it?
They used to be. Yeah, they used to be. Ellis, when I used to get the Gulfstream boards, Ellis Beaton used to do some classic sprays, but yeah, I haven't had a spray of that for a long time. But do you know what? I wouldn't mind trying to get that. Like, wonder who's got that board now. You know, like, I wish I'd kept hold of it.
It's not. I guess it's not quite the same with motorbikes, but with boards, like unless you break it. When I first, all my wakeboards, I sold them to get the next one.
Yeah.
I'd love to have like this thing, the Flight 69, the first twin tip. I've been scavenging for boards all over. So yeah, you've got to get that thing. That would be amazing.
Yeah, it'd be sick to get it back. But yeah, exactly the same.
Think about at the time, do you? You don't think about keeping stuff at the time.
No, you don't.
And we all do that. And then wish I
kept them. You know, like, I think all my boards I sold. And even more recently, you know, like you just don't have the space to keep them all. You know, like
you've got a loft there to put them all in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the ongoing
nice
project.
Loft.
Well, no, it's a complete mess. But it's supposed to be because I built the house a few years ago, and the loft was supposed to be sort of a self-contained sort of annex, you know. But it's still not finished. So then, as soon as like I got the main house finished, and then it's the loft's never quite.
Well, you know what to do now, don't you? I mean,
you're set now.
If we're in lockdown,
well, do you know, that's the trouble. Like I'm just like looking at. I've got a load of bathroom tiles got put in. I've got a shower got put in. I've got a toilet, and I can talk you through it in a minute if you want.
I mean, we'll do another episode.
Yeah.
Handy Andy.
Yeah. It might be more interesting, to be honest.
No, don't say that at such an early juncture. People will switch off. All right, let's pick up the pace. Hey, so that's age 8. How many? Because we're doing a kind of backstory of how people get well. Like, at what point does it change for someone? But you've got your first board. Where did that first board go? Do you remember? I've got a good one, and this is a big one. I don't know what the equivalent would be. Maybe just jumping your first double or something, motocross racing. Or for me, I mean, it's a weight jump, but it's not quite the thing. Can you remember that first big?
I can tell you exactly.
Wave that you swam out into. Can you remember that first washing machine moment, or like, oh my gosh, what have I done?
No, like I just think. Like it was never really like surfing as a career was never really an option, you know. And I never really like it was a lifestyle. It was fun. It was, but you know, like especially when I left school, I can remember sort of saying I wanted to do something in surfing, and it was like almost like sort of laughed at, really. Like it's not possible.
So you didn't even kind of take it seriously.
I took it seriously to a point, but it was just fun, you know, man. Like I, you know, looking back, like I think, you know, I just enjoyed it, you know, and maybe that is the best way to approach things. And I just really enjoyed it and never took it too seriously. It was a laugh. It was like it was something to keep me fit, but also really good fun, and had a great social side, you know. That was it, you know. And I worked for like Gulfstream locally, making surfboards and manufacturing boards for years.
Did that come while you were, because you did the plumbing thing? You studied plumbing at college straight after?
I did. No. So when I left school, I wanted to be like, I wanted to do something in surfing, and that just like working in the surf industry, I just ended up making surfboards, and I did that for like 10 years. And then I retrained as a plumber when I was like 25. I kind of like, it was getting to the point where, you know, mid-20s, and I was just, you know, earning really terrible money, and you're getting pressure from your parents and that, and it's like, okay. And then I decided to learn a trade, which was good. You know, I'm glad I did that. Yeah, it is useful. But but you know, I never really I plumbed, you know, for 4 years or something like that, but I kind of hated it. So you don't realize how, you know, what it means to work in a passion until you actually work in something you're not really that into. And that's nothing like, I work with guys who were really passionate about plumbing. You know, like they loved it, and it was great. You know, for them, they weren't going to work. They were having.
Well, you were clearly destined to work with water, just not
fixing pipes there.
Not fixing pipes.
Yeah.
You know, you were close. You were close.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
So you went back. So that's at 25. But how much were you surfing? Like what? The other thing that we try and explore is the pathway through a sport.
Yeah.
I think all of our sports, there are enough weekend warriors and part-time heroes to know that there doesn't have to be a pathway. Just the partaking is enough. But for some of us, those of us who've done it to a professional degree, to a greater or less degree, it's always interesting to know, is there an actual pathway? Could there have been a better pathway? And was there a point at which you went, right, I've got it?
It's such a niche, isn't it? You know, it's like, it's hard to say, is there a pathway? And I don't think there is a pathway. But it's just, I just doing what I loved. And I think the breakthrough for me was, you know, like I surfed a lot. I knew I was doing what I loved, and I loved chasing big waves. Unfortunately, I always thought that the way to be a professional surfer was contests, like competition surfing, and I was just terrible at contest surfing. So So
you did do a lot of it then, contest surfing?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you know, I tried. I did I think back then it was called the BPSA Tour. I think now it's called UK Pro Surf Tour or something like that. You know, so yeah, I competed, but I never really got through, you know, a couple of rounds maybe. I think the best I ever did was got into quarterfinals once in a national competition. But that wasn't like, that wasn't my thing. I wasn't a competitive surfer as much as I wanted to be. Like that, you know, I really wanted to, but I just wasn't very good at it. And, you know, my strengths lay in big waves, you know, and I think the turning point was just keep continuing to do what I loved, which was surfing big waves. But myself and Mikey Corker, we ended up doing. I had a few sponsors, and I was doing like relatively well. I was working for Analog and Gravis, and they were also sponsoring me as well. So that was like I had a really good lifestyle where I was, you know, sponsored surf, but also working for them as well, repping, and so it was great. You know, it's great for me. And but when Analog pulled out of the surf industry, I was sort of left without a job and also without a sponsor. And that's when my friend came up with an idea, is that we'd start making some video content. And we did a project we went to loads of people. We had this idea where I was going to surf the biggest wave in the world.
Like you do.
Yeah, like you do, you know.
Yeah.
That was
what are you doing today? Well, I don't know. I think.
Okay. So we go find the biggest wave.
Yeah. So you're doing it.
When was it? When was this, Cotty?
This was like 2012, 2013.
So at that point, you'd kind of just said the contest thing, it's not for me. And at that point, you just been paddling in terms of the biggest waves.
I've been towing a lot, and you know, I've been towing a lot, and I had a bit of recognition. I had a XXL nomination, and
so that one was in 2012, was it? Is that the Mulligan Moore?
Yeah. But the thing is that none of that doesn't always, like, you're getting recognition, but it doesn't always transcend or like
translate into anything.
Yeah. Or how do you make a living out of that? You know, like, or I think, you know, I didn't even have any sponsors. You know, like, so I was working on the beach, lifeguarding. I was part-time plumbing. I was doing anything to sort of fund my hobby, you know, or my passion. And then Mikey came up with this idea. So we went around everywhere trying to sell this web series, and in the end, Epic TV bought into it. And then weirdly, they gave us like a bit of budget, which didn't mean, you know, we weren't going to make any money out of it, but it meant I could surf all winter.
What was the pitch? What was the idea?
I was going to surf the biggest wave in the world. Well, that was it. Yeah. But
come on, Matt. What do you want?
Sorry, I mean, I heard that.
Hell.
Yeah. But the thing is, so I was going to surf the biggest wave in the world, and it was going to be, it was going to follow me chasing the biggest storms in the Atlantic through the winter, you know. But the thing is that obviously it all boils down to storms, and you know, and then when you go into these meetings and you say that, and they go, oh, you know, whoever you use your pitch into doesn't surf, obviously, and probably knows very little about it, and they go, okay, that's just, they love the idea, they love that, you know, you're going to surf the biggest wave in the world, but they want to know the date and the time, and, and then straight away you go, oh, I don't know. Well, we don't know. We might not happen, and then then the whole, like, all right, okay, and then the whole thing just falls apart. But somehow, Epic TV, they liked it. So, they gave us some money to go and do it, and then creating that content really gave us a bit of focus. And then it was like, I think it was sort of like, so this is what we have to do to try and get a bit of money. We have to come up with ideas and projects and, you know, give the brands something back. I mean, right,
but back then, so, that was kind of at the start of that whole way of operating in terms of sponsorship, wasn't it? That sort of 2010 onwards was, we need to have a project and it needs to be a mini series online, sort of thing. Yeah. You know,
was that like a bit of a eureka moment? Regards of, hold on, I can. This could be it. I could earn a living out of this.
Yeah, I suppose so. You know, I think, yeah, I'd already worked on projects and on films and stuff, I suppose. And like the first one I did was like Driven. That was probably like 2007 or 8, maybe, with Anthony Butler, Mr. B Productions. So I had worked in projects before, but this was like the first one that, you know, was going to go online and it was going to be free, and, you know, so yeah, it was like a you know, a big moment, and it coincided with that winter. Just so happened to be crazy winter, and like everything fell into plot. You know, like sometimes you just can't. You're like, I can't believe how lucky we are. Like every swell we went to, the waves got bigger.
I think other people would view that differently, but seeing as that was the point of the series,
But the way the winter went, and then like,
so this was 2000. This was 2012.
Well, it's time we were actually shooting it. It was the winter of 2013, 2014.
Okay,
so
that's it, because that was where you got a Ride of the Year nomination, was it?
Yeah, the biggest wave, and
it was the Billabong Double XL. Yeah.
So and that's where it sort of peaked. Really peaked, and we were sort of chasing it from October all the way through, and then early February, this crazy storm in the Atlantic, and went to Nazaré and hooked up with Garrett and Hugo, and we're the only people there, and
that's when you towed Garrett, and he won the biggest wave.
That was way back. That he towed me into this crazy wave.
I just got it right, because I've got the link up here. Is it the one where you get smothered, where you don't ride out of it?
Yeah. I don't ride out of it. Yeah.
So we're gonna get onto crashes a little bit later, but very quickly, were you all right out of that one? Was that?
Yeah.
Because you were right at the top of the wave, when that wasn't full impact.
I was at mid-face, and it's sort of like I just wasn't going fast enough, and I got mowed down. Yeah.
So we'll post that off to Interweb and cut that out as well. Yeah.
Dear, oh dear, they are mind blowing.
They are.
Yeah. So obviously we're going to put a lot of these links up. So
we're going to try.
You've got to watch. Yeah.
So that ended up being 2014, and by that point, so you'd only been. It's trying to get my head around what makes a big wave surfer, because to the layman like us, if you can surf really, really well,
balls like that, I would have thought.
Apart from the kahunas, is it a mental thing, or is it a very, very different skill set to be towed into a massive wave than it is to be an aerialist on a small wave?
It's just, I think it's a different skill set, like, but it also is mental, you know, like it's, you really have to want it, you know, in a different way. I'd say the thing is now, like, big wave surfing has changed a lot, and it's progressed like massively in the last few years, you know, and there's guys now bringing that aerial game into toe surfing, into big waves, you know, like Kai Lenny and Lucas Chumbo, you know, like, So it is moving very quickly. But it is just, you've got to enjoying the worst moments, you know, like enjoying those poundings, enjoying.
Are you slightly? I think he's slightly sadistic, isn't he?
Yeah,
Andrew. I mean, you've got to enjoy near-death experiences and being pulled by the undertow, not sure if you're ever going to come up again.
But that's like, it's like anything, you know, like you've got to enjoy the crashes, you know, like whether it's in water or on a motorbike or.
Well, I guess it's not really enjoyment of it, unless you are a little bit twisted, but it's what you enjoy, what you take from it in terms of I did that and I got out of it and now I'll be better next time.
Yeah. But like if you and I think this is the key point with any sport is that you know, if something happens and it puts you off and you don't want to do it again, then do you know what I mean? Like if you crash so hard, you go, right, I never ever want to hit that kicker, or you know, like, or you know, or a wave lands on you and you go, right, that's it. I never ever want to surf a wave again because that was so horrible that, you know, it's put me off for life. Or to go, actually, that's not that bad. You know, like going through that isn't as bad, and the enjoyment I get out of it is worth it. You know,
so basically, the challenge of achievement is as big as, like, not just the buzz you get from it. This kind of whole thing about, well, you won't be beaten by it. That kind
of. I suppose, yeah. It's kind of hard to explain. You know, like,
no, not really. It all relates. It's the same. You know,
I think it's hard.
I'm sure it's the same in Matt.
It is. Hey, I look at big waves and it makes my stomach drop, but I can totally get from what little surfing I've done and the buzz. I think you don't get a buzz like you get from action sports in mainstream sports. It's not the same buzz.
No. Exactly.
It is a buzz. I'm a rugby man. I love rugby, and it is a buzz playing rugby, but it's just not the same of being scared to death a lot of the time and overcoming it.
That's exactly it. Exactly it. Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there.
Dave,
on anticipation.
Andy, on that note, if you'd like to go to slide number on your presentation, is this thing. It's we'll pop this up. Just talking about that fear, because I get a fear in water, despite being a waterman. I get the washing machine thing, and I remember getting pinned when I was really young and ragdolled on a beach and couldn't get out. It is scary in waves as much as I love them. Can you see this photo that I put up? I think it's number 8 on that list that I sent you. It's you.
But I remember.
It's you at Nazare.
About to get a wave on the head.
So when was this? What was the situation? And in the TED Talk, you did describe about what happened after this. What happened to lead into that?
That is absolutely bonkers.
That's mental.
It is.
That? Can you remember being in the water there?
Yeah. I can remember that wave. You know,
look at it. You can't
really
even.
Well.
Where are you? You're so small. Oh my god!
I think that photo was taken really early on in the Nazare sort of scenario, or you know, like my time in Nazare. I think it was like 2013.
Yeah, so that winter.
It was one of the bigger.
You got to keep. I'm just going to keep looking at it.
Yeah, one of the bigger days that we'd had.
Jeez.
And it was the reason. It was actually right in front of the cliffs, right in front of the lighthouse there. And it was like when before we surfed that day, we often speak about the waves we want, where to go, the safety, breathe, and we were saying, okay, right, like don't get the first or second wave of the set. We always go for the third or fourth. Don't go on the first peak. If you go on the first peak, don't go right, because obviously it's into the cliff. And obviously, I think, like, within about 10 minutes of being out there, I went on the second wave and I went right on the first peak. And I fell. So it's like all the things we talked about not to do. And then, I came up, and then obviously there's a bigger wave behind us, so I was going to get right in the head. And I can remember that it's probably the most scared I've ever been.
Well, because you had time, you've got time to think there, haven't you? Unlike
you've got time to think, and then you sort of, the realization was like, where's my safety team? And then realizing that they couldn't get to me, and then you sort of going, right, okay, well, I'm going to take this on the head, and I'm like, I wasn't that far away from the cliff, you know. And but it kind of it's really humbling, and like, because there's nothing you can do, you know. It brings like there's nothing that you can do. It's not like, I think, and that's what I love about it, is that you can't just like blow the whistle, right, let's cut, right.
There was,
it's like it's going to happen.
Was there a Zen moment? Was there a Zen moment then?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
Because and it's a real realization, is like, well, my reaction to a situation, to that situation, will change everything. If I go into the panic, if I panic, I try to fight it. You know, like, my heart rate's going to go up, my physiology, my body's going to change, and it puts me in a lot more danger. Whereas the acceptance, you know, accepting a situation is like, shit, this is it. Like, it is what it is, you know, like, and there's nothing that can get me out of this. So I have to trust in myself.
When you say accepting a situation, though, what do you mean by that? Do you mean like you almost accept that that's your fate? Does that ever go through your mind out there, or what?
No, because
have you ever felt like you've been close to death out there, or what? How does that work? No. But you know, the reality is that he's clearly mental.
Yeah, but that's exciting, isn't it? Like,
is it
that acceptance? You know, like, it's just okay.
Listen,
right.
That's mad.
So the acceptance then, in that photo, Kai, the acceptance then was never thought it could be game over here. You didn't think?
Well, no, because if you think it's going to be game over, that will change your physiology, and then it could be game over, because your whole body, by thinking, oh, it's game over, your whole body will react, and therefore you'll lose oxygen. You know, you might go into shock or something, or, you know, like. But being able to just go, right, it is what it is. You embrace that moment. I trust myself. I trust my team that I'm working with. You know, and just like, you kind of know you kind of know you're going to be all right.
This very answer alone is the reason I got excited that you were coming on the show. This is it. We can end it here for me now. Yeah. This is the kind of stuff I'm like, what goes through?
I don't understand. I want to know, because you know what? I look at that. Whenever I've last been surfing, and obviously much smaller scales that we're dealing with here, but you see a wave. You see Billy Punters at the weekend. You see a wave come in. You're not going to make it, and everybody's paddling like the clappers not to get beaten by it. Did you just go with the muscle? You weren't paddling anywhere. You just waited for it.
I think on this one, I did swim a little bit.
Just like a breaststroke.
Casual. but it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter how big the wave is. It's exactly the same situation. You know, like, if by accepting something and by embracing it, like, you can get through it. Whereas if the thing is, you'll never beat the ocean. It doesn't matter whether it's 2 foot, 20 foot, or 100 foot. Yeah. You will never beat the ocean. Yeah, full stop. So accepting it, embracing it, and enjoying it. You have to enjoy it, and then loving it, and thinking, you know, like, it's like you have to love it.
I want to know when you accepted that acceptance. What age did you realize you don't mess with the ocean?
I didn't. Like, I was always pretty good at, like, I was quite good at accepting those, like, situations in you know, like, I've been in some crazy situations in the ocean, like, for as much as I can remember, but there was a turning point where I realized you had to really enjoy it, like, enjoy those worst moments. I was doing water safety for Garrett McNamara in like 2011 or 2012, and he went over the falls on like a 60-foot wave, and I thought, I can remember watching it. I was on the jet ski, he was paddling, and all my job was just to keep him safe, and I couldn't. And it was one of those moments where he tried to paddle for the wave, but he couldn't get it, and then the next one wave was literally going to break on him, and I couldn't rescue him, and so I watched him go over the falls on this wave, and I thought at that point, like, he's dead. I thought he's going to die. Like, there's no. You
just killed Garrett McNamara.
Yeah. I was like, I'm so bad at I was like, I'm so bad at this safety stuff. Like,
at this point, can you get hold of that video of you on that jet ski towing that you used on your TED talk? You know, where you total the jet ski.
Yeah,
that's
Mr. B's footage.
We've got to cut that in some form because that's brilliant.
So Garrett went over the falls. He disappeared. I went in looking for him. Another wave came in. I couldn't find him. So he had like a 2-wave hold down, and then he pops up after the second wave with just like the biggest psycho grin on his face, and it sort of. And he's like, "Whoa, man!" Like in an American accent, you know, like, "Whoa!" And he got on the ski, and I thought he was going to freak out at me for not being able to get him, and 2 being like massive shock, 3, you know, like could almost drown. But he was completely opposite. He was just like, "Whoa, that was just so," you know, and he loved it. And that point, it was like, shit, you really have to love. You have to love the worst moments to even get a chance of getting the best. You know, like
different breed, a lot of you.
Is that a consistent theme across all of the guys that you surf big waves with? There is a similar mindset there.
Yeah, I think so. All those guys, they have
and girls
they,
now.
They put
and
themselves.
Girls now.
Yeah, and girls. Yeah, I meant girls and guys and abroad. You know.
Yeah.
But all those people. They put themselves. They're all prepared to eat it. You know, to have those wipeouts to even get a chance to, you know.
Okay.
To ride the biggest.
Well, I mean, I said we were going to hold off on the crash thing, but we kind of did that then. But we're going to get to the crash, of which you've obviously.
To be honest, you two could just keep talking, and I'd be happy just to keep looking at these pictures.
That picture right there.
Honestly, it's.
Because we got a few beauties in here that we'll scroll through and we'll just pop up as we talk about it. But moving on, hey, the whole process of big wave surfing it's a mission, isn't it? Quite apart from just finding the swell and chasing the swell. When you're talking the team that are behind you, it's not just let's shove the jet ski into the beach and just go have at it, is it? There is a mission behind every outing.
Yeah, and I think it's you know, there's so many moving parts, you know, like the swell, not just like the conditions, you know, like the swell and the wind and, you know, and all that sort of tides and stuff, but also logistics, and also getting, you know, people that you trust that are good in the ocean and good surfers and good at safety. And so there's a lot of moving parts for sure.
How much research goes into it?
Yeah.
You know, guys have watched weather watching, and obviously the last 5-10 years through technology and apps on our phone and all that stuff. Now you must be like, I could see you doing the regional weather soon. You'd be so good at it.
Yeah, like years. Like I think all surfers are secret sort of weather geeks and how they read the maps and like the weather maps and synoptic charts, and everyone has their own expert that they like to call up and have their input, and I always use, like, so I have my opinion and then I'll bounce ideas off other surfers, and then also like the local people or surfers that the spot that I'm thinking about going, and so yeah, a lot goes in behind the scenes, you know. It's such a weird obsession, you know, like all that time and energy spent like for a few seconds, like what is that about, you know?
I get it.
When you put it into words, it makes zero sense whatsoever.
Yeah, just so stupid.
But that's the thing, you experience that on top of that wave, so then you can't. It must be so hard to try and relate that. I mean, I'm doing my best to get my head around it, but not even close. The feeling that you must get when you're up there, it's a rock. It's got to be like a rock star moment, isn't it? Where you're zen, you're just there.
Yeah, but you know, there's loads of times where, you know, you don't get the waves. You know, all the energy and all that like organization, and you know, and then you don't get the waves, or you just have a shocker, or you know, you just, you know, things just don't connect, you know.
That's probably what keeps you coming back, isn't it? I should imagine.
Yeah, I don't know.
It goes back to that challenge of just chasing that perfect wave.
Yeah.
God, it's starting to sound like, like a Hollywood film now.
Yeah, but like I've been really, I have been lucky, and I have had, I have had some special moments, but yes, it like I suppose, that does what sometimes it feels like years or like a lifetime between those waves, like the ones that you really remember, so.
With the way that your surfing interests have gone, do you still get as much of a buzz just going and hitting your local break on a shortboard? Do you still do that as much?
Yeah, I do. I think just surfing is what it's about, really. And I've been, like, since my children have been getting a little bit more into it, and it's almost like come a full circle. So we often go down to Saunton, where I learned to surf, and they go surf and hang out, and but my daughter goes to the Saunton Surf Life Saving Club, which I used to go to, and does stuff for them. So it does feel like a full, it's like revisiting. It's relit my passion back into that sort of thing, and
of that part of surfing.
Yeah, and I think this is that part of, because it's where it all began, like Saunton and the Surf Life Saving, and I've kind of, it's just exciting, to get to go back to that, and revisit.
Is that because it's less pressured, because you are just not only at the size of the wave? I know anything can go wrong at any time, but is it because it's not, like you said, you don't have to do all your research with that? Doesn't feel like
it's just going surfing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
But I suppose it is, but it's also like nice. I feel like to do that with your children. It's like, I suppose it's something that just you use as a dad. You just dream of that, and I feel kind of lucky to be able to do that.
How old are the kids, Andy?
So Honey is 12 and in secondary school, and and Ace is 8.
So both of them, because I remember, once again, going back to some of the stuff of watching and remembering actually at that time, because we met right at the start of when you were taking on big waves in a bigger way. I think way back when was the Boardmasters Day when we first met. You had just started. It was around 2010. It was around that time.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, like that would have been like the analog sort of days, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so I was working with analog, and
it was exactly that. It was in the VIP tent with Lizzie from Analog, where that photo was taken. Yeah.
Is it her that took that photo?
I want to see this bloody picture now.
Should we just do like a Fight Club flash of that photo, like a single frame?
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Just flashing up. So was it Lizzie that took the photo?
It would have been Lizzie or Sophie, my wife, or something. Yeah, they were there. They were 3 sheets to the wind as well. Don't worry. It wasn't just you and I cuddling in a corner in the VIP. It might have been. I don't know.
It could have been.
It could very well have been.
Oh, that was great.
But what I was going to do with your kids is you started taking on bigger and bigger and bigger waves, even while the kids were already with you. I'm sure you've been asked this question many a time. As anybody who does this sort of thing, any of this sort of sport that's a bit risky, I get asked this all the time, why I go and try other sports that aren't my main sport and injure myself all the time when I've got a family. But you're living, and then your wife saying, well, what do you want to do at that point at which you were making a call on what to do? Her saying, you need to go and chase those big waves. That's a big call for your partner to make, and for you to make with the family situation. How does that, how do you balance that?
I think it, with the family and stuff like that, I think it was really motivating. Like it was like, for me, it was like now or never. And it ensured that, I put 100% into it. I was doing it as professionally as I could. And it had to be a career, not a hobby anymore. So I think it was really important. And I think maybe without them, if it would have just been maybe a hobby, for like maybe wouldn't have
Take
had to go so hard or taken it so seriously, or like, and it was just like, I was just like, do I really want to be like, although I don't know, I just didn't want to be like getting to a point in my life where I look back and would just go, oh, I could have done that, but I had kids, or like, oh, I had a family, and you end up getting angry, or I don't know, like I just didn't want to be that person. So it's like, right, you just got, it's all or nothing, like, but that's very much sort of, unfortunately, I'm sort of that sort of person, like all or nothing. So it's just like,
I'd say just you got to be to do what you do. I love the way that Matt described it earlier on as doing something a little bit risky.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Hey, let's get. We've covered a lot of gnarly stuff. And it will be a question actually as to whether, apart from the ramifications of that crash, that fall in 2018, in terms of you being out of the game for a little while, and if you'd like to flick to slide number 9.
Okay, let's have a look.
I think
I'm loving this. This is brilliant. It's like,
is that like the one? Is that the one, Cotty? Is that the one where you get swallowed?
I can't see it. I can't see the slides.
Okay.
Okay.
So it looks like you are about to, die. To not put to certain terms on it. There is like a is
that the one with all the white water behind it?
Yeah, there is a block of flats in water form behind you. Anyway, that and we'll put the video up of this if we can pinch that off the web as well. Where you get spat out. It does look like a gnarly fall as well. Do you view that, apart from the time out after that, do you view that any differently to any of the other big falls you've taken? Like, does it sit differently?
No, it's just this is part and parcel of it, and unfortunately, again, I've been asked about, it was painful, it was a serious injury, but it wasn't, again, it wasn't. I've never had it was never a traumatic experience that would like put me off. Like I didn't come out of the water and go, right, I never want to go in the water again, or I never want to surf a big wave.
We've got a picture right now of you on the beach in a collar.
Yeah,
actually.
So it's just
collar on your cheeks. You're with it. What exactly did you do? What was the specific injury?
So it was a compression fracture in my L2. So it was like my L2 vertebrae like a crushed and then sort of chipped off.
And what part of the fall actually did that, do you think?
So it was when I got spat out and I got ejected into the air, and when I landed, that it was like falling on concrete. I was going pretty fast. I'd obviously come from quite a height, and when I broke the water, I actually broke the water of my bum. So sort of it was like literally.
Oh, so it went crushed.
Yeah, and my whole body crushed like almost into a ball. And I straight away I knew, it was such a heavy impact. I pretty much knew straight away. I was like, I was sort of working it through with time out, and I was just like, that's not good. That's going to be definitely a few months out. I can just tell.
Were you with it while you were getting ragdolled? Like, what was the process of getting out of the water after that?
I was with it, and sort of obviously you get the impact. The injury was in that impact, and I got obviously ragdolled. And then I was underwater for quite some time, and then I came up and I had another wave on my head, and then I got rescued. So.
What for some time? What is some time? You're underwater for some time.
It's not like to be honest. Like a long hold down is like between 15 and 20 seconds, but you're holding your breath with high heart rate. So 15 seconds can feel like a lifetime.
Yeah.
And the thing with that is that you do never know when you will come up. So you have,
that's what I mean.
With your head, it kind of like it's hard to sort of like, if you just got to hold your breath for 15 seconds, you could probably do it, but you don't know. It could be 25 seconds.
To put this into some kind of context, right? Comparing it from my sport, for example, let's say if you get a good start going into the first corner, you crash. and you know you've got, say, 35 bikes coming behind you, and you kind of go, okay, and you kind of take a deep breath and you curl up into a little bit ball. You might have been ragdolled down the track, and you think, I'm just going to get mowed over by 35 bikes.
But you were just still happy that you were out in front at that point, Jeff. So you're sitting there pretty.
Exactly. What you're talking about is doing that and then holding your breath probably for about 5 minutes, expecting 2,000 bikes to come and mow you down. That's what I'm talking about. You've got the might of Mother Nature going, okay, we'll just give them another splattering and another beating. It's just mental. Can't get my head around it. Can't. Same.
Yeah. And what I tell you what, and while we've got those pictures of you with the nurses and doctors, you know, you got the double thumbs up picture of you on the stretcher, looking after you. How long did it take you to get back on a big wave after that fall? What was the
I was back with just under a year, I think it was.
And that first wave, that first big wave session, how did that feel?
Well, it was kind of you go through, like, mentally, you do all the training, and I actually, like, it was nice to throw myself into the training, and I had great support from like Red Bull were amazing. They paid for all my rehab, and they, you know, they got me the best doctors and best physios, and the support through that was, I felt like I was really fortunate. You know, being treated like an athlete, which sometimes, like in the extreme sports sort of stuff, you don't always get treated like an athlete. You just get treated like a lunatic, or like, but like, so having that support, you know, was amazing. But then I kind of like had, you do question, like, do I really, you know, is this really, you have doubts, you know, like, you know, do I really want to do this anymore? But I think, or I knew I wanted to surf, but I didn't know to you know, do I really want to go, like, trying to surf the biggest waves? You know, like, is this maybe just, I should just step it back a little bit. But soon as I got back in the water in Nazaré, and like, I think after like 2 waves, I was just like, am I kidding myself? Like, this is like, you know, like, this is it. You know, like, there's no way I wasn't not gonna go back and put it on the line again. You know, like, it was just like, it's just what I love doing. You know, and it sort of answered all my questions, you know, because you know, 10 months out of the water like that, you know, you do ask yourself a lot of those questions, you know, especially through the rehab and all that, and you know, you get big, again, like the rehab journey is that big ups and downs, you know, like, you get big breakthrough moments where your body's feeling good, but then you also get the lows and your body's not feeling good, and you doubt yourself, and you know, you go on that spiral down. You're like, you know, am I going to be able to surf again? You know, is it worth it? What's the point? You know, like, it's just, you know, yeah.
Roller coaster, literally. Like,
but
on
the note I'd like to finish off is you getting back on a big wave and thinking, who am I kidding? Of course I'm doing this again. I'm an idiot, but I'll go with that.
By his own words, lunatic is what he's
lunatic,
himself.
Don't like being treated like a lunatic, even though I'm one.
But he is.
I tell you what, that was amazing, Cotty. Awesome, because we haven't. I was about to say, we haven't really chatted at length sober for a while, so that was good. That was good. That was a good catch up. Andrew Cotton, thank you so much for your time, sir. It's been awesome to catch up and
thank you.
Out more about the, probably when it comes to it, one of the more insane things that someone could spend their time doing, which you probably are aware of, right? Are you aware of that?
No, not really. But
okay,
thanks for saying that. I really appreciate it.
Stay unaware, all right? Don't change.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on.
Oh, that was awesome. I now got a little bit of an understanding what it's like to be in the head of a lunatic.
Well, if you ever want to come down, to Portugal, you're welcome to come down, and
I would love to. I got more than
get you out of the sea.
Yeah, my buddy upstairs keeps talking about it.
Tow Jeff in on a boogie board. That would be that'd be class.
Listen, you have to tow me down the beach like a beach well. Get me into the water. Yeah, I'm not walking all the way out there.
Cotty, please take care of yourself and your family, and we need to go wakeboarding, foiling type thing that we talked about at some point. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Well, next time you're around, give us a shout.
Take it easy, buddy.
Cheers, mate.
Pleasure. See ya.
Bye.
And there you go. I love that. I was looking forward to that all week.
Mate,
because I want to know what it's like to be. It's just insane. Like I've done a bit of surfing, but only a little bit, and whatever. And I was okay with it. I got up sort of pretty much straight away. But I'm talking about a wave, probably about the height of my knees.
Yeah, and even if it suddenly comes up to your shoulder, or you're lying in the water on your belly and you're seeing it over your head, it's the scariest thing ever. Could you imagine paddling at a skyscraper or being in and around those sort of waves?
You just got to be a different. It's just got to be insane, like he says. You got to be a lunatic, haven't you, to do that?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
And like you say, when you look at the pictures and everything, it's just who would put themselves up there? Well, he obviously does.
So we hope you enjoyed our interview with Andrew Cotton, and we're going to try and sign off properly as opposed to just going, yeah, see you later, Jeff, which is how we've signed off every single other one. Thank you for joining us. While we're doing the thank yous, thank you to Sam Pascal of Mantis Pro Media, Amber of Muse Creative, Grace Wedler in the background, and of course, Arena Sports Live or ASL TV, where you are watching this right now. If you're watching it here or on our Facebook page, do check our social media channels for all other content in between times, including quickfire content, quickfire questions from the man that you just saw. And also, please hit the link in the description to go to our NHS Charities COVID-19 Urgent Appeal, where we're trying to raise money, along with lots of other people we know. If you can spare some money on our page, that'd be great. And if you can, we have got some goodies that our guests are throwing into the pot. We haven't collated all of those goodies yet, but if you do throw some money in, make a comment, make your name visible, and we will be posting the when, the wheres, and the hows, and the however it's going to be done.
Yeah,
on
we
our
might
social
not
media.
Might not be able to raise quite as much as Captain Tom, but you know, if we just raise a bit.
Hey, every little helps.
Exactly,
is the famous supermarket saying. Other supermarkets are available, so dial into that. Subscribe, hit the thumbs up, don't hit the thumbs down. That's a very negative attitude to have. If you don't like it, just do one, all right? No, don't do one. I'm only joking. Please come back. If you're here now, then surely, unless you're just like Andy Cotton, just likes torturing yourself, you've enjoyed the show. So why not come back and watch again? Did you learn something today, Jeffrey?
Yes, I learned not to go and ride big waves.
It doesn't make any sense
It
whatsoever.
doesn't make no sense at all unless you're an absolute madman.
Which Cotty is, but a very, very level-headed, cool as custard, mellow madman, which is...
It was good. I enjoyed the chat. It was great. I'd love to see it with my own eyes. I'd love to get down there and see him do that.
Yes, please.
So Portugal, we must
scary, though. Hey, enjoy the show, Jeffrey. If I don't see you through a week, I'll see you through a window. Bye-bye.
Adios.
Me do my two-step.